On 7 News tonight, the Revesby Inferno. Huge balls of fire erupt from a factory with dangerous chemicals inside. Workers flee as emergency crews fight to avoid a disaster. Shark survivor, the lucky escape for a teenage surfer bitten 3 times. Underprepared, claims Australia isn't ready to handle an outbreak of Ebola. And controversy over a famous Sydney cash cow at the Opera House. 7 News starts now.
This is 7 News at 6 with Melissa Doyle.
Good evening. Sydney fire crews have prevented a potentially catastrophic explosion at Revesby, where an inferno had engulfed a factory containing thousands of litres of chemicals. Workers and firefighters only realised how dangerous the blaze had become when a huge fireball tore through the roof of the complex.
This was the moment a factory fire rocketed.
Well, let's check the forecast now, and Angie Asimus is out enjoying the spring weather at the opening of the Paramasala Festival.
Well, Mel, it's a lovely clear night here at Parramatta, and the crowd is certainly making the most of the break in the rain. In just a few moments, a street parade will signal the start of the event, which celebrates all things multicultural about Sydney.
Yeah, I come every year. It's one of the best events of the year. Gives me a chance to bring out my sari.
I love the atmosphere and I love the colour, and they've got really good food.
After a few early showers, most of that unsettled weather has now passed, so it's still very pleasant outdoors. Coastal spots reach the high teens. It's slightly warmer here in our west, but if you can't make it out tonight, the festival runs all weekend, and I'll have the forecast shortly, Mel.
Thanks, Angie, very much. Still to come in 7 News at 6, peak hour fright, the roadside emergency on a busy Sydney motorway. Also, what Tony Adam Goods and Nelson Mandela have in common. It's got a Sydney University professor in deep trouble. Beatles history up for grabs, what you didn't know about these pictures. And later in sport, live to an A-League star striker ahead of the Sydney derby that's now a sellout. It wasn't the biggest fire around today, but southbound traffic on the M1 at Barara was slowed to a crawl when a car caught fire around 7 this morning. The driver pulled into an emergency lay-by to call for help, but by the time fire trucks arrived, the car was well ablaze. No one was injured. An inquest into the shooting deaths of 3 diggers in Afghanistan has heard the risk of an attack was upgraded to high just 2 hours earlier, but they weren't warned. The hearing was told a junior intelligence officer had been asked to do the risk assessment days earlier.
He was a private doing a corporal's job with no formal training.
You're watching 7 News. When we come back, why Sydney's high-rise boom could be bad for your health. Advice for Australia's leaders on how to handle terrorism from a man once on the inside of evil. And the Queen visits an incredible tribute to war heroes. We'll explain what you're seeing next. We're being warned Sydney's building boom could come with major health costs, physical and mental. Planning experts say swapping suburban homes for high-density, high-rise living can create long-lasting side effects on residents.
With Sydney's swelling population.
In London, Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
Still to come in 7 News at 6, Virgin's $1 deal, what it means for competition in our airways. A wish from Oscar Pistorius and details on when he'll finally be sentenced. Plus, bigger than you too, the crowd that's taken over an Australian stadium, but it's not for sport or a concert. That's next. This could be the cheapest airline takeover deal in the world. Virgin Australia will pay just $1 for full ownership of Tiger Air. Virgin bought a 60% stake in a discount airline last year for $35 million. It'll claim the remaining 40% in exchange for just 1 gold coin. Tiger Air will still operate as a separate low-cost company. The acquisition will allow Virgin to fly Tiger Air planes overseas and compete with the Qantas-owned Jetstar. The long-running Oscar Pistorius trial is nearing an end, with the athlete likely to be sentenced early next week for killing his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp. The South African court has now heard Pistorius is desperate to apologise in person to Reeva's parents.
He's a convicted killer.
Nick Etchells, 7 News.
Just ahead in 7 News, bear on the loose, the chase that captivated live TV audiences. But first spot with Jim Wilson and all set for a classic derby in the A-League.
Sure is. Can't wait, Mel. What a rivalry between Sydney FC and the Wanderers. And we'll be joined live by a very special guest for the Inside Word. Plus, some welcome relief for the besieged Wallabies as Adam Ashley Cooper swaps gold for white. And living on a knife's edge on an extraordinary day at Phillip Island, the spectacular pictures are next.
Tonight's sport is brought to you by TomWaterhouse.com. Online betting. This is Betting Now.
Welcome back, everyone. The injury-depleted Kangaroos have arrived in Brisbane ahead of next weekend's Four Nations opener against New Zealand. There are 11 new faces, with rising Panthers star Matt Moylan replacing the NFL-bound Jarryd Hayne.
It does leave a hole. No one's going to replace Jarryd Hayne and what Jarryd Hayne can do.
As long as he knows that he's earned that position and that he doesn't have to be a Jarryd Hayne, I'm sure that he'll do a great job.
Now, here's a picture of relief and hope. 7 months of intensive rehab and inspirational Newcastle player Alex McKinnon has left hospital. He will continue his recovery at home. Great news, Alex, and good luck to you and your family. Wallabies captain Michael Hooper continues defying rugby bosses by publicly supporting suspended teammate Kurtley Beale. But Hooper dodged questions about coach Ewan McKenzie's future while insisting his team's united and poised for a great Bledisloe upset.
When the Wallabies need comic relief, Adam Ashley Cooper's their man.
And a huge thank you to the Year 11 students at a school. Well, it was like walking into the United Nations today. It was my pleasure to have a chat with some amazing and inspirational youngsters at Holroyd High at Greystanes. I was a late call-up as former student Chris Barth couldn't make it as she's overseas on assignment for Sunday night. Now, there are a lot of cricket and Wanderers fans in the group, Mel, but I had to also mention the New South Wales Swifts and the Diamonds. They also love their netball. An amazing school. Amazing school. Huge weekend. Yes. I'm on Weekend Sunrise tomorrow morning, and then the derby tomorrow night I'll be going along to, and we will have a Sydney FC player joining us tomorrow night just to square the ledger.
Wise and diplomatic.
Big disclaimer. Absolutely.
Thanks, Jim, very much. Enjoy it all.
Thank you.
The day's finance is coming up in 7 News, plus pictures of a very different police chase that had viewers in America on edge.
And I'll have your full weekend forecast live from Sydney's Paramarsala Festival.
Tonight's weather is brought to you by Australian Super. It's Australian and it's super.
Tonight's 7 News headlines: huge balls of fire erupt from a factory with dangerous chemicals inside. A teenage surfer's lucky escape, bitten by a shark 3 times. Claims Australia is underprepared to handle an outbreak of Ebola. And chefs headed to court over the licence to Sydney's famous opera bar. Checking finance markets now, and they finished the week on a high. The ASX 200 gained 17 points. All of the big 4 banks made gains. And one Aussie dollar tonight buying 87.5 US cents. Well, Angie Asmus has Sydney's forecast live from Parramatta.
Oh, Mel, what a lovely night to be out here for the opening of Paramarsala. There's no sign of those showers we saw earlier today. They cleared up around mid-morning, so great conditions if you have time to make it down here this evening. We're about half an hour away from the opening ceremony, and then it'll be 2 days of food, fireworks and fabulous music. They picked a great day for it. Sydney reached a top of 21 degrees, which is pretty close to average. Right now, it's still a pleasant 18. Across the suburbs, showers were mostly coastal. Bondi and Manly reached 19 degrees. More sunshine in the west pushed temperatures up around 21 degrees. On the satellite, a high in the east will bring mostly fine conditions again tomorrow. There is just the chance of some coastal showers once again. If anything, they will be patchy and nothing more than about 5 millimetres or so. Around the country tomorrow, the chance of a storm in Perth. Brisbane may see a shower or 2. Apart from that, all the other capitals are looking fine. Very hot for Adelaide though, 32 degrees there. On the water for your Saturday, expect east to southeasterly winds at 10 to 15 knots. Fine weather will kick off the weekend in Sydney tomorrow, and 22 degrees to go with that sunshine. It's a similar story across the region. Southerlies will ease, leading to slightly warmer conditions. Richmond and Liverpool reaching Brisbane 23, Cronulla 21. Looking ahead, we've got a stellar weekend on the way. Sunday will be the pick with blue sky and 25 degrees. Even warmer in our west, 29 on Sunday and getting up to 32 degrees on Thursday. After those ferocious storms, we've earned that forecast, I think, Mel.
Absolutely. All right, Angie, you have fun out there tonight. Thanks very much. Now, live police chases are so common in America we can hardly call them breaking news, except for this one. A mother and her cub were on the loose in California. Now, they look cute, but they are dangerous, especially when the baby cub got caught in a rubbish bin while looking for food. Police had to scare the mother away to encourage the cub to safety. Eventually, they were reunited and went back into the bush, but not before having a drink from a neighbour's pool. And that is 7 News for this Friday. I'm Melissa Doyle. I hope you have a great night.